How many reports on Pakistan do you think Fox will do before one of their tools finally asks why we don't just split the country up?
All right, well, Pakistan claiming a strategic victory in its offensive against the Taliban today. The Pakistani army says that it has seized Kotkay, the hometown of Pakistan's Taliban chief Hakimullah Masood. The battle for Kotkay reportedly taking several days and involving heavy aerial bombardment. Global Radio News reporter Christopher Albritton joins us now on the phone from Islamabad. Christopher, how significant of a victory is this, and do we have information on the whereabouts of Masood himself?
Hi, Julie. Well, it's a symbolic victory because it's the hometown of Hakimullah Masood. But as you mentioned, it's also strategic because it does sit on a route to a major militant base. It's the third time in 8 days that the city has changed hands. The army says it captured it early on, while the Taliban claimed to have taken it back a couple of days later. Finally, after 8 days of aerial bombardment, the Pakistani army says it's in control of Kotkay. So far, there's no word on the location of Hakimullah Masood, and everyone's kind of wondering where he is.
And you were recently, I understand, very close to the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. What were you able to witness yourself?
Well, it's very hard to say. The Pakistanis have barred foreign journalists from South Waziristan and even, outside of Dera Ismail Khan, which is the next border over. Local journalists and aid groups are finding it very difficult to work for. But even in just outside of Dera Ismail Khan, where I was, I didn't see any increase in military activity. It's interesting that Pakistan says that fighting the Taliban here is now a priority, but as they've even said themselves, they've devoted only 30,000 troops against about 12,000 militants in this battle. Pakistan has about a 600,000 strong army, and they're only devoting 30,000 troops. That's nowhere near the 5-to-1 ratio of attackers to defenders that classic military strategists say is necessary to invade and secure a territory against a conventional army, much less a guerrilla force in a rugged mountainous terrain.
Christopher, what about the civilians fleeing south to Waziristan? How do they view the Pakistani offensive, and have there been any serious civilian casualties?
Again, impossible to verify. They have barred foreign journalists, so we don't know. But the civilians, the reports that we've been getting from Dera Ismail Khan, where the bulk of the civilians have fled to, is that they're increasingly suspicious. More than 155,000 have been forced to flee their homes, and this is the fourth time in 5 years that they've had to do this. And each time before, the army has cut a deal with the Taliban that left the militants more entrenched than ever. And when the people came back, the Taliban would kill the people that they claimed were collaborators. Again, the refugees are increasingly suspicious. They say that they never saw any Pakistani ground troops going in. They said that their Taliban are entrenching, digging fortifications and digging in for a long war.
Christopher Albritton from Global Radio News, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thanks, Julie.
Greg.